Now that I've figured out how to paint, I'm going to take this subframe off, paint strip it. The one on the bench there, the rear subframe, I'm going to paint strip and paint that. You buy these from your local pet store. These work really mint just to put down, to put your parts on. So, you know, you can put your bits and pieces on there, paint strip them and then chuck them out. So they work pretty good. Here's one I've prepared earlier. Just about looks a bit more modern without that big square subframe sitting on the back of it. While I'm paint stripping, I might as well take the sprocket cover, slave cylinder for the clutch, and this alternator end plate off. Strip it all off and degrease it in one hit. I've got the sprocket cover off and all the other gear. From memory, I went up 2 teeth on the front sprocket and I came down 6 on the rear from memory, and that was to just make it so much better to ride. With that really tall gearing that I just said, it would still lift the wheel in second gear, but in stock gearing it would power wheelie in 4th gear. So I'm going to put it back to the stock gearing part because it's a bit more lively and just ride it accordingly. I just used the blow nozzle, blew in here, and it was able to pop out the piston, so I can clean up all the piston and paint this, paint strip it. Back to the degreaser. I'll do the subframes first. They're the cleanest. This big tub works so good for degreasing. Got it jacked up on an angle so the liquid just keeps running back to this bottom corner. It's like a poor man's Kero wash. So after removing the heavy grease with degreaser in the blue tub, I was able to put it in the parts washer, and after 2 14 minutes wash cycles, I was able to have them like new. What do you reckon? Brilliant. So now that I've got rid of all the grease and grime, I'm about to put the paint stripper on, get rid of all this old flaky paint, and then I'll wash them all with hot soapy water again, dry them off fully, look at priming them. So 20 minutes in, it's starting to bubble up already. So that's how long it took me to put this stuff on all the 5 parts that I've got. So that's really starting to crank along now. So it's starting to lift. Back subframe, all festery looking too. And the main man, he's the last part that I did. He's starting to show a bit of signs of the paint lifting. Rightio, might put some more on. So about another 15 minutes have gone by, and definitely lifting the paint now. It was harder to get this stuff off than the engine cases were. Seemed to have bonded on a lot better, but now it's starting to actually come good. I gave it a little scratch with the small stainless steel brush, and just to break that surface of the paint, and now it's ripping it off good. So now, after another 10 or 15 minutes of poking around with the paintbrush with paint stripper on it, I'm going to take them in, wash them all down, and have another crack at it tomorrow. Here they are after the wash down, which I'm glad I've done because now I can actually see what's left. Other than that, I was pushing the paint around everywhere, getting a bit lost at what was loose and what was just getting pushed about. They come out reasonably good. Covers are good. Slave cylinder is good, but definitely a little bit of work left to do on these guys here. So let's go for it. I've been scrubbing away for a while now. Starting to make some more progress. Just a bit of stubborn paint that won't come off, but we're getting there. So I'm just going to do this side and then, you know, flip her over, do the other side, wash him off, and hopefully by the end of today I can have it all paint free and look at starting to paint them tomorrow. I've flipped it over, done the other side, also the rear subframe, scratched it with the small wire brush. I've had enough of the fumes of this paint stripper, so I'm going to wash it down and basically take it to our shop and see what the Bicarb blaster removes. Hopefully that takes the last few bits and pieces off. Now I'm going to Bicarb blast or soda blast the last bits of paint off with the trusty old blaster. Been to the shops, grabbed another 10 kilos of that stuff. Even brought the dog down for a bit of a look. At least it's a white dog. The Bicarb won't show up too much in it. Rightio, let's do it. Thank God that's it. We're done. Take them home now and prime them. That's how many boxes of Bicarb I used, probably what, 6 kilos there. So I'll sweep all this up, put it in the bin, hose the rest of it down, and hopefully the rain comes and takes care of the rest of it. But I'm off to go prime some parts. It's too cold to paint the parts outside today, so I'm going to preheat them on my wood fire. Then I'm going to take them outside into the carport and paint them out here. I've got my parts all clean, wiped down with methylated spirits. I'm going to spray them with the primer. Well, all the parts are primed up. They came out really good, just like the engine covers. So I'll put them back in front of the fire and try and put the black on them today as well. So then that part's done. I can start putting the rest of the bike back together, all the back end and mud guards and stuff. The fire's on full bore and my parts are drying. Awesome. Now my primer's all dry, I'm going to put the gloss black on. See if I can get it to cover perfectly again. The paint came out good. It's back in front of the wood fire. Letting him all bake on there. So when it's dry we get to see if it came out as good as the covers. So my alternator cover, front sprocket cover and clutch slave cylinder have all been paint stripped. So now I'm going to heat them up a bit and prime them. So I have primed the parts, they came out really good. So now I'm just slightly warming the cover to set the primer off a little bit, and that's it for the night. Tomorrow I'll put the paint on. So it's the next day, the primer's all dried. Now I'm going to warm them and put some gloss black on them. So they're all nice and glossy. I'm just lightly heating them with my mate here. I'll come out tomorrow and show you what they look like.